Welcome to Marriage Matters. We're glad you've joined us again today. And as you have known, if you've watched any of the videos, Barbara and I have been married 61 years. And one of the secrets, I think, to our marriage is that we've done a lot of things together. And we've dreamed together, and that's what we want to talk about today. A few nights ago, we watched Field of Dreams. Now, we've seen it before, but it had been quite a while since we had watched it. And if you've seen the movie, you know Kevin Costner plays the leading role in that. And he has this voice telling him to build a field and they will come. He will come. One of the things we noticed in the Field of Dreams is that his wife was very supportive, even though it seemed like he was doing some really crazy things, building a baseball field in the middle of a cornfield. So when we finished the movie, we talked a little bit about dreaming, because dreams in a marriage, I think, are very important. And Barb looked at me and asked me what my dream was, and I told her she was my dream. And
Isn't that nice?
That is true, but we've had a lot of dreams together, and we're not talking about dreams like you dream at night, or we're not talking about dreams that are unrealistic. I mean, if you're in a job that makes $70,000 a year and your dream is to travel the world and stay in all five-star hotels and so forth, that may not be a realistic dream. It could happen, I suppose. But we're talking about dreams that are practical and things that you work together on to achieve.
So we want to ask, do you have a dream for your marriage? And how do you envision your future? That's kind of what we want to
Where
talk
will you be 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Or 40 years.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage you to begin today to dream. This week on Facebook, I noticed one of our couples friends that we had known, and they were celebrating 26 years of marriage. And they are a sweet, sweet couple. I love them so. But I was a little bit envious. I mean, I thought they're just babies. 26 years, and we're doing 61. And so I envy them because they have so much ahead of them. And
they probably envy us because we've experienced so much of life together. So,
there's so much to do together. And I want to do it again. That's why I envy them. When we were been married 26 years, we hadn't had our fourth child, but I want to do it again with him. And I think if we did, we'd dream bigger. We would dream bigger now. And so, we had some dreams, and we'll share with you. But as Tom said, as you dream, and what things we'll talk about, do it together. Together it's important. A dream is good for him, good for me. And there may be a corporate dream, but what works together for both of you?
Well, it's okay for a man to have his dreams, the wife to have her dream, separate things. But, for a healthy marriage, you have to have things you do together. Dream together, achieve together.
Neil Clark Warren, and we're going to talk, for the next couple of sessions, we're going to talk about his book, The Triumphant Marriage. And he says in this book, show me a couple with a big dream for their individual and their corporate lives, one that involves a deep sensitivity to both partners' needs, and I'll show you a couple on their way to a triumphant marriage. Now, Neil Clark Warren wrote this. It was published in 1995, and he'd been married then 36 years. And I did some figuring. Now he's 90, and he and his wife were married 65 years. She died last April, and I bet that was a hard thing because I think they dreamed. He's the one that began eHarmony in the year 2000. So so there are all kinds of dreams, but I want to encourage you not to let life just happen. Don't live sameness. And I learned a new term last week, the gray divorce. In 2022, 36% of all marriages were for the 36% of all divorces were in the over 50 group. And the one age group that's increasing this year?
Yeah, over 70.
No, 65.
Oh.
It's the group over. Can you imagine? That age group for divorce is tripling.
And I suppose there's a reason for that. The culture we're living in today. People are more prosperous and people have more individual dreams. It's encouraging, and the culture encourages that. The women's movement, all of those factors. But I guess the underlying factor is that people get bored with one another.
Right. The issues that they give for this increase in that age group are intimacy issues. And we talked a little about that in our last video, Passion. You want to survive, keep passion alive. And we talked about intimacy in that one. Unfulfilled desires and expectation, and lack of spontaneity. And as Tom just said, boredom. They've quit dreaming. I mean, we still dream.
Well, yeah, our dreams are a little different. When we were younger, our dreams included more outside activities, hiking together, things like that. And now our health doesn't permit. I can't walk up a mountain anymore.
We did Mount LeConte. Some of you may know that. Or
it's in the Smoky Mountains.
We did all the trails to Mount LeConte. You spend the night on top. And those were things we planned as a dream we wanted to do. But boredom, even now, boredom is not a part of our relationship.
We're never bored with each other or with life. You got to keep things moving forward.
You have to keep dreaming. But the empty nest syndrome, the empty nest situation affects a lot of people emotionally as they get older. And that's because...
Well, when you're younger, your dreams often revolve around your children. And then, when they grow up and they either marry or go off to college, and there's no kids at home, and you're staring at one another, and your dreams have been built around family and not with each other, then you don't know what to do. Or maybe you start dreaming with your grandkids. But somewhere along the way, you've got to keep your dreams as a couple alive and active, and you can do the other things as well. That's important. But if you don't keep your marriage dreams alive, it will die.
And I would say if one of the factors is boredom, don't live sameness. I encourage you to not live, don't settle for mediocrity in a marriage. And you need to make a big plan. Make a big plan. Plot a course for your marriage. And I think as Christians, it's important that your marriage honor God, and we planned for this. We wanted our marriage to be special. Tom's parents' marriage ended in divorce. My parents ended in divorce, but we wanted ours to be different, and we worked on that. We planned. We had a plan, sort of. We didn't. Looking back, I don't know that.
We probably didn't write it out on paper, but we talked a lot about our dreams and our goals, and you have to work together to achieve those.
Tom graduated from college after we married and after our last child was born. And then he graduated from seminary. And we always said we did everything backwards, so we want to encourage you to do some things frontwards,
Yeah, well, we started a family early. And a lot of people get their education and get established, and then they have a family. Well, we had a family, and then we struggled, I guess, in many ways. But we struggled together, and we struggled as a family together, and we stayed together, and we did things as a family. But Barb and I always took at least twice a year, sometimes more often, leave the kids with somebody, grandparents, friends, and we would go and have a weekend together somewhere, something we had planned on.
And that's sort of a dream if you make that priority in your marriage. So Tom finished college and seminary. Then I had a dream, and he wanted me to finish college. I had started. Remember, we had married at 18 and 19, so we didn't get college in there first. But I finished my college degree before my oldest daughter finished hers.
Yeah.
I beat her just by a little bit. And that was, it was just a dream we had together. There were sacrifices, but then when the kids were on their way out, they were all married or gone, we applied to leave the country. Right.
With a mission board, an international mission board, and we had settled into a routine like most people. And when the kids were gone, we looked at each other and said,
"What can we do exciting?"
Yeah,
now?
Barb's always wanting to do something exciting, So we took off to Europe, and it was a very exciting time for us. 10 years we were there, and it was probably the best 10 years of our life.
Right.
And we enjoyed a lot of adventures there. We did things together, and I don't know, it's just really important that you have goals and dreams and you work toward those. We've said that probably 10 times already, but hopefully you get the message that dreaming together and working together on your dreams will keep you together.
And sometimes it's like, I have a friend I just learned last week. She started learning to play the guitar last year. It was a dream she had, and that's her dream. And it, I'm sure they decided that together. But you need to do something that's good for both of you. That will bring. I mean, if I'm excited about a dream I have, my excitement's going to spill over.
Well, if she has a dream, I'm going to support her dream. That's what I want her to do. If it's something she wants to do and it fulfills a part of her dream or ambition, then I'm all for that. And she's the same way for me. So, but we don't have a lot of separate dreams anymore. I'm not sure we ever have. We've lived life in love with each other, and we have stayed in love because we have done everything together.
Planned to stay in love. And in this book, The Triumphant Marriage, that there was a survey. 87. Dr. Warren wanted to know maybe the one thing that would make all of those couples have such a successful marriage, and then 87% of them said they put being in love at the top of the list.
Yeah, we start out that way, obviously. All couples do.
You start out falling in love.
Falling in love, and then how do you sustain that? How do you maintain that over 60 years or longer?
Well, the difference in falling in love, and we had a video on that, it's so intense and so exciting and explodes, and you're almost obsessed with one another. That's falling in love. But being in love takes a little different turn. So, what is being in love?
Well, it's a deeper emotional bond with one another. And that comes, well, it comes from talking and communicating and meeting each other's needs. We've talked about that in other videos. It's so important that we do that for each other. If I neglected her and she neglected me, then we would start going different directions. We might live in the same house and we might ride in the same car, but, you know, we're just not together.
So I guess together might be the big word for today, you know. But as you being in love just means that you have this secure connection, and it stays there for you. I mean, you're going to have arguments and you're going to have whatever, but there's a deep connection and a commitment to work through things. And I think our last video, Want to Survive, Keep Passion Alive, has some of these same tones or some of these same ideas. You're on a journey of becoming intimate.
And we talked about, I think we have already given a definition of intimacy, but intimacy, which means she's got to be open, I've got to be open. We have communication with each other, and that's intimacy, is knowing your mate. And, you know, we change as we get older. We change. Our dreams can change. Our attitudes change sometimes. I mean, so if you don't know one another and keep that openness and that communication, then you start drifting apart, and that's dangerous, you know, to do.
Right. And so as you become more intimate and you dream together and you're connected and you're committed and you communicate, you just have this strong, gentle security, right?
Well, I'm secure in who I am, and I always have been, I think. Barb's security depends on me a lot, I think, and how I treat her and how she responds to me. And I think that it's important. I mean, I could run her off pretty easily, I guess, by being ugly and critical. And yeah, I could, but I'm not going to. But that's why I say it's important to stay in touch with each other.
And so all of these have to do with being in love. You don't just fall in love. You work at being in love. You work at staying in love. And you have this strong security in this.
I guess if you describe being, it's something that's ongoing. And present.
Right.
Being.
Being.
Not past tense, not future, but being right now is being in love, staying in love, communicating, and, you know, it's vital. You just can't have a marriage without that kind of relationship with each other.
And it works in all facets of your life, this being in love. And also, we've always enjoyed each other. We have fun. I have more fun.
Well, she is a more spontaneous person than I am, and she has encouraged me, I'll put it that way, to do things that I probably don't feel like doing at the present time, but I enjoy doing it once we get...
I always say, let's do something wild and zany.
Wild and zany is her theme every morning.
No, not every morning.
Well, almost, anyway.
But, you know, and this has happened over the last 20, 30, 40 years, because our children were with us the first 20, and it's a little...
It was wild and zany when they were home.
I mean, we've had picnics anywhere and everywhere with the kids. They grew up having picnics, and because I love picnics. And so we can have a picnic under any tree. Remember when we were dating, I would pack a picnic lunch. I stayed with my grandmother then, and he would come and get me, and how many miles one day did
Well,
we
she
drive?
has this vision of a roadside table with a red and white cloth on it waiting
Yeah.
for us, and we would drive miles looking for one, and they don't exist anymore.
Well, then you did have picnic.
Now you have to go to a park somewhere.
And we find that even now, I mean, it's just one of my favorite things, and he accommodates that part of me, and he enjoys it most of it. One of our favorite memories, and even he remembers it. We were having a picnic. The kids were in school. We still had all the kids. No, one of them was in college, but we took off one Friday. That was his off day when he was in the pastorate. And we, remember, it was pouring rain about like it is today. No, I think it was worse. So we had a picnic under a shelter, but the rain still got us, and we were huddled so close, but we had a picnic.
A wet picnic.
So, but we've always enjoyed doing things, being together. We've never had separate vacations. We just go together where we go, and we've always said we could live on a deserted island. It wouldn't be deserted if we were there, but
No, it wouldn't, but it would be wild and zany, wouldn't it?
so we've always said we could do that because we enjoy working together. We enjoy walking together. We enjoy and now since I broke my ankle this last year, we've had help. He's had to help me enjoy cleaning house together. So we do all of those things, but it's just the two of us now that do these things, and so and I heard a long time ago, marriage should be as comfortable as an old shoe,
Or an old pair of jeans.
but it should always be as exciting as the next adventure you want to plan. So, and here you go. You can still dream big for tomorrow or the future, but we have to live in the present moment.
Yeah, that's obvious. I think you know that. You plan big.
Plan big.
You may not achieve your big plan, but you may end up with one larger than you thought. Sometimes it's constrained by finances. Sometimes it's constrained by health. Sometimes
Responsibilities,
circumstances. Yeah. And sometimes you can't do that. But it doesn't hurt to plan and dream. And when you do that, it pulls you together on the same page. And that is important. That you are at least thinking together, dreaming together, hoping together, anticipating something that you can do together. That's what we're talking about in this video.
And you can, you live one day at a time, of course. We have to live one day at a time with the dreams that we have and goals as a destination, always in your mind of how today will fulfill tomorrow, but you live today. And that gives meaning and purpose to life as you live today with an eye for tomorrow. And so I encourage you. I mean, I know some of our subscribers are just newly married, and one person wrote and said, I want to learn everything you know about marriage. Well, even that we've been married 61 years, I don't know that we know a lot, do we?
we know what works for us.
Right.
And, when we give advice, you take it and apply it to your own personal lives. It may work for you. It may encourage you and help you. You have to find your own path. And
but don't settle for sameness. As I said, don't settle for the mundane.
The routine of life. I mean, life can be routine, and it usually is. You get up and go to work. You come home about the same time. You have dinner at the same time, and it can become routine. And we have fought against that our whole marriage. It's not that you can't live that way. You have to sometimes.
Right. It's
but
life.
you
It's life.
plan outside the routine so that you can have special times together.
And you dream. So I encourage you, no matter if you've been married 1 year, 5 years, 20 years, or 40 years, to dream.
Okay, we'll leave it at that today. She's got one
a little bit
more
more.
thing.
Warren says in his book, magnificent marriages, this is a quote, magnificent marriages involve two people who dream magnificently. And I would say it would also be for those who are being in love every day. And if you saw our video on passion, you will note that we have worked really hard at keeping our love fresh, at being in love every day. I mean, life happens and some things are not always...
One of the best things you can do to keep your marriage alive and fresh is forget what happened yesterday and plan for the future. If you keep dragging up the past and the old hurts and things like that.
Well, we're going to talk about that
we'll
later.
We'll have a video on that. Barb may have to do that one without me.
Why? So, anyway.
I don't really enjoy these videos, but I do it because she wants me to, and we do it together. And
one of my favorite parts of the day is every night, I curl up beside him in the bed, and we don't talk about the day so much, but we talk about things. It's my sense of security, and I just know that all is okay. All is okay. I mean, even though he's in pain a little bit, but that comes from just being happy and being in love, that I know we've worked at this and we've dreamed.
Go ahead.
I want to read this, one of the last things in here. Warren has a lot of quotes from these 100 couples that have a triumphant marriage. And this is from a man. I thought it was interesting. He said, keeping our love fresh and alive was a goal we set even prior to marriage. And that's kind of what we did. This sounded a lot like us. We work hard at it. In fact, we rank it right up there at the top of our list of goals, just to keep their love fresh. After all these years, I can tell you that I can hardly wait to see my wife every night. She hugs me like she thinks I'm wonderful too. I just think that's so precious, and I love that. And this is it. What do you want to say?
I'm waiting on you now.
So we end that session with keep dreaming, or start dreaming, plan something you've never thought about doing. I mean, there's so many things available to do. And who would ever thought we would sit here and do a YouTube channel? That's a dream. He says that's my dream. But anyway, just don't settle for sameness and keep dreaming. And I would ask, if any of you have a particular issue you would like us to discuss, make a comment in the comment section, and we'll try to answer that or do a video on that if I can keep him
interested, involved, yeah.
So we're going to do one soon on sexual compatibility and forgiveness and conflict solution. So many things in marriage. But if you keep being in love and dreaming, you'll make it big time.